tanam tagaganam dattagaganam dattagaganam daganam dada anam dada anam nam danam danam agaganam nam danam daganam danam danam agaganam nam ta anam danam danam nam danam anum nam dano anum nam dano ganum danam dano danum da nam nam danam danam nam danam danam nam danam danam nam danam da nam nam danam danam nam danam dada anam danam danam dada anam danam 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 dada aganam danam danam danam.
Hello and welcome back to Raaga Rasika. This is a podcast program that explores the world of Carnatic music. Joining me from Albany is Vidya Subramanian. It's been over 10 episodes since the last time we had a segment on Rasika's voice. So Vidya and I thought now is a good time for us to share with you all some of the comments, letters, opinions, feedback we have heard from you. Thanks for your participation. It really encourages us and inspires us to continue on with this effort. So Vidya, with that, why don't you read to us the first comment for this segment?
Sure. I would like to start off today's Rasika's Voice episode with a comment we received from Emilia Kirkan. She says, I am very happy to have found your website and podcasts. I come from a very small country, Slovenia, in Europe, where we don't have any Indian music teachers, much less teachers of Carnatic music. I have learned some Carnatic music in India, but as we all know, learning without a teacher or from books is very limited and is practically impossible. So I'm very happy and grateful to have found your website. Please keep up the good work.
Thanks, Emilia. Next, we have a letter from Santosh Shastri. Thanks for a wonderful initiative. Though I have been practicing Mridangam for over 10 years, I never learned the ragas in a detailed manner. Your episodes are helping me understand the basics of each raga, the differences in ragas, etc. Keep it up. Just a quick note, Mridangam is a percussion instrument in Carnatic music.
The next comment I would like to highlight is from Mahesh Bhuvaneshwaran. Thanks for a very good illustration of Grahabedam. I enjoyed the podcast. With reference to some illustrations of Grahabedam from past masters, I have heard repeatedly from many stalwarts, including Sri T.N. Seshagopalan, that Sri G.N. Balasubramaniam was the forerunner and his Sishyas, that is Srimati M.L. Vasantakumari and Sri S. Kalyanaraman, propagated this further. Sri T.N. Seshagopalan was inspired by Sri G.N.B.'s Raga elaboration in Grahabedam. I have also heard your Guru Sri Lalgudi Jayaraman mention the same in one of the seminars held by Shruti magazine. And he specifically demonstrated the Sindhu Bhairavi to Behag transition in that session. Thank you so much, Mahesh, for your comment.
Before we move on to the next comment, Vidya and I would like to share with you all the answer to the quiz question from a few episodes ago. As you may recall, in episode 28, Vidya sang two alapanas, one in Raga Mukhari and the other in Raga Bhairavi. We then asked you to try and figure out which one is which. The answer is as follows. The first alapana was in Bhairavi and the second one was in Mukhari. There were many of you that responded with the correct answer. So I'd like to share with you all the names of the people that responded. I will share a few of them now and then a few of them later on in this episode. Some of the people that responded with correct answers are Bhagyalakshmi Suresh, Dr. S. Raman, Srinivas Raghavan, G. Ramani, Anuradha Venkatraman, Prabha Vijay Raghavan, Meena Sogavanam. With that, let's move on to the next comment from Ganesan Ramani. Dear friends, I indeed enjoyed the information on Mukhari, particularly on Janya. Your radio program is quite interesting. I sincerely hope that this program kindles the Carnatic music instinct of many North American kids, youngsters, adults, and seniors. Looking forward to hear more on Mukhari soon. Good luck to both of you.
The next comment is from Soumya Subramanian. Soumya says, I listen to your Raaga Rasika podcasts regularly. It's very interesting. It's like refreshing my own knowledge of music theory. I enjoyed listening to your program on Grahabedam. You have explained it in a very simple and understandable manner. I like the piece that you played of Langudi Mamas with you singing Swarams of Neelambari and Nata Kurinji in the background. Thank you so much, Soumya, for your feedback.
Okay, time now to share a few more names of the people that responded correctly to the quiz that we conducted. Uma Chandrasekhar, Kalpakam Srinivasan, Jyotsna Narayanaswamy, Padma Satya, Vidya Ramachandran, Madhu Rangarajan, Bhuvna Ganesh.
The next question is from Swarnalata Ganapati. I really enjoyed your podcast on the Sangatis in the Mukhari composition of Saint Tyagaraja. Thanks. I would like you to explain if there is any evidence that the Sangatis were provided by the composer himself or whether they have come to be developed in course of time. I appreciate your services in providing an insight into Carnatic music for all of us. That's a very interesting question. Once again, for the benefit of some of our listeners who may not be familiar with the word Sangati, a Sangati can be considered as a melodic embellishment to a given line of lyric. And as many of you may know, most of the songs have been handed down to us through word of mouth, at least from the Trinity times. So even though we perform these songs in what we believe to largely be the original tunes or close to the original tunes in which they were composed, chances are over time some changes could have crept in either subconsciously or some changes might have been made consciously by some musicians. And again, as far as Sangatis are concerned, you will find slight variations from one school of music to another in terms of the Sangatis that are included for a given composition. And in fact, for some compositions, the Sangatis could vary quite a bit. And again, in terms of how much liberty one has to add Sangatis of his or her own accord is something that is considered to be quite debatable in Carnatic music. Some schools of music believe that a musician's duty is basically to preserve the song in exactly the same way in which his or her guru or teacher has taught the song, and therefore they do not really encourage a musician to do a lot of improvisation by adding or altering Sangatis, whereas other schools of music are more liberal and they look at Sangati as a form of improvisation, and they believe that every musician has the creative license to make or modify Sangatis as he or she thinks appropriate.
I would presume, Vidya, that even in the school where artists are given the creative license to creatively embellish the Sangatis, it is an opportunity for the artists to express the form of the raga by adding many more Sangatis, correct?
That's exactly right. Sangatis can be considered as an opportunity for an artist to show his or her creativity, but the generally accepted norm is that an artist is expected to conform to the original structure of the song. So you cannot generally add a Sangati that drastically alters the form of the composition itself. So there are certain conventions that need to be kept in mind when an artist adds or alters a sangati.
Interesting. Let me now read a few more names of the people that responded to our quiz. Shaila Ramaswamy, Maithili Kannan, Charu Iyer, Vijay Narayanan, Uma Shankar, Shriya Iyer, Niranjana Srihari, Ram Santanapalli. Okay, the last comment for the day is from Srinivas. Srinivas says, "You really do a very good job. I like your explanations in the conversation format. I find your podcast really helpful and useful for a student like me. I have some questions. Can you please answer them for me?" First, he asks, "Can you please differentiate these ragas? I'm always unable to differentiate these when they are sung. Brindavana Saranga and Kapi, Vijay Shri and Varali, Hamir Kalyani and Saranga." And the second question from him is Riti Gaulai a Bashanga raga?
Those are all certainly very interesting technical questions from Srinivas. As far as the differentiating factors between those ragas go, there are a lot of detailed and involved points that we will hopefully touch upon in a subsequent episode, but I would like to definitely point out some quick differences. Starting with Brindavana Saranga and Kapi, let me first sing the Arohanam and Avarohanam or the scale for Brindavana Saranga. Sari ma pa ni sa, sa ni pa ma ri sa. It is believed that Brindavana Saranga's origins are in Hindustani music. Of course, there are some fantastic Carnatic compositions in Brindavana Saranga. Few Dikshitar compositions come into mind, Saundara Rajam and Rangapura Vihara. As far as the scale is concerned, Brindavana Saranga is very close to the Carnatic Ragam Madhyamavati, but the differences are really brought out in the way we render the gamakams. As far as Kapi goes, the Arohanam is very close to Brindavana Saranga's Arohanam, except that we also employ the Kakali Nishadam or Ni3 in Kapi Ragam. Let me sing the scale. Sari ma pa ni sa, sa ni da ni pa ma ga ri sa. Of course, Kapi is a ragam that is not really governed by any particular scale. So you will find there are a lot of phrases that occur in an elaboration of Kapi Ragam that may not be covered by the scale that I sang. For example, you could find instances of the Shuddha Daivatam or the Antara Gandharam. So it is an example of a Bashanga Raga or a Raga that takes certain additional notes that are not really found in its parent Melakarta Raga. Going on to the next pair of Vijayashri and Varali. Varali, of course, being the more well-known and popular ragam, has the following scale. Sa ga ri ga ma pa da ni sa, sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa. And Vijayashri, which is immortalized by the well-known Tyagaraja composition Varanarada, has the following scale. Sa ga ri ga ma pa ni sa, sa ni pa ma ga ri sa. Both these ragams have the Shuddha Gandharam or Ga1, which is a Vivadi note, which makes them sound very similar, and the chief difference lies in the fact that Vijayashri does not have the Daivatam, whereas Varali has the Shuddha Daivatam or Da1. Moving on to the next pair of ragas in his question. Hamir Kalyani and Saranga. Again, a very interesting discussion. They are both janyas of the 65th Melakarta Ragam Kalyani. And the reason why some listeners may get confused between the two ragams is that both these ragams employ the Shuddha Madhyamam or Ma1 in addition to the Prati Madhyamam, which is the main Madhyamam in these ragams. Hamir Kalyani is also quite popular in Hindustani music. Let me start with the Arohanam and Avrohanam for Hamir Kalyani. Sa pa ma pa da ni sa sa ni da pa ma ma ga pa ma ri sa. Going on to the scale for Saranga. Sa re ga ma pa da ni sa sa ni da pa ma re ga ma ri sa. Of course, all these ragams that I briefly mentioned today are fairly involved and complex, and it may not be possible to fully appreciate them from merely the Arohanam and Avrohanam, but the scale usually acts as an introduction to the ragam. Going on to the last part of Srinivas's question, he has asked if Riti Gaula is a Bhashanga raga. Once again, a Bhashanga raga is a raga that typically takes on an alien note or Anya Swaram that is not present in its parent. In Riti Gaula's case, it is a janya of the 22nd Melakarta Ragam Karharapriya. Riti Gaula is not a Bhashanga raga because it does not contain any notes that are not found in its parent Karharapriya. However, it is what is called a Vakra Ragam or a raga with a zigzag scale. It's not a straight up and down scale. So let me illustrate this by singing the Arohanam and Avrohanam of Riti Gaula. Sa ga ri ga ma ni da ma ni ni sa sa ni da ma ga ma pa ma ga ri sa. Because Riti Gaula as a ragam has a lot of nuances that are not really captured by the scale.
Thank you, Srinivas, for those questions. Clearly, there's a lot more to these ragas, as Vidya was mentioning. And this is certainly one of the reasons why we will have dedicated segments on these ragas where we'll go into a lot more detail about the differences and the nuances of these ragas. On a related note, connected to the segment that we did on allied ragas on Bhairavi and Mukari, some of you wrote to us asking us how the ragas Hussaini and Manji are also connected. Vidya, do you want to share some comments on that?
That's an excellent question. In terms of Hussaini and Manji being allied ragas, I would say they are more commonly referred to as allied ragas of Bhairavi than as allied ragas of Mukari. So I would say the similarities and differences between these ragams can be best understood after we have done a segment on Bhairavi Raga. Once we have dealt with Bhairavi Raga in a reasonable amount of detail, then I think it would be a natural follow-on to discuss Manji and Hussaini with some illustrations on those ragas as well.
Sounds good, Vidya. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for your comments. Keep them coming. If you've liked Raaga Rasika so far, please do spread the word amongst your friends and family so that they can also join us on our journey exploring the world of Carnatic music. For those of you who would like to be updated whenever we have a new episode on Raaga Rasika, you can subscribe to an email alert by going on our website www.raagarasika.com and enter your email ID, and that way you will get an automatic notification whenever we have a new episode to share with you. With that, let's pause here and pick up next time. To learn more about Vidya, visit her online vidyasubramanian.com. Thank you and goodbye. Ah